Imagine standing on a world where the sky burns red, your breath comes through a machine, and every step could be your last. The ground beneath you is older than life itself, and above, a pale sun struggles to shine through the dust. There's no sound, only your heartbeat echoing inside the helmet. This isn't a movie. It's Mars, the place we dream of calling home. But what would it really be like to live here and survive where life was never meant to exist? The illusion of Mars, the planet that seems close but is deadly. Imagine standing on the dusty red surface of a planet that looks strangely familiar: mountains, valleys, and sunsets. At first glance, Mars seems like Earth's quiet twin, waiting for us to move in. But beneath that reddish charm lies one of the most hostile worlds ever discovered. Every image sent by NASA hides a deadly truth. Mars is not a new home. It's a death trap disguised as paradise. From a distance, Mars feels like the next logical step for humanity, a world just waiting to be explored. But in reality, it's a graveyard of failed dreams. Every rover that lands there tells the same story: a world frozen in time, battered by radiation and suffocating cold. It's not a planet built for life. It's a planet that resists it. The air, the temperature, even the sunlight are foreign to us. It's a place where a single tear would freeze before it hits the ground. Yet, the idea of living on Mars captures our imagination because it feels so close, so reachable, only 225 million kilometers away. That illusion, that thin veil of familiarity, is what keeps humanity dreaming. We look up at that red dot in the night sky and think, maybe one day. But if you were there right now, without protection, you'd die in seconds. Still, the dream persists. Why? Because humans have always been fascinated by danger disguised as beauty. And Mars, more than any other planet, seduces us with that contradiction. It looks like a world that could welcome us, but in truth, it's silently hostile to everything we are. Its atmosphere is poison, its soil filled with toxic chemicals, and its cold is beyond comprehension. Even the light there, dim and orange, feels alien, as if the sun itself is weaker. Nothing about Mars wants you to stay, yet that's exactly why we want to go. To conquer it, to say we lived where no life should exist. It's the ultimate challenge, a battle between human curiosity and cosmic indifference. But before we can even think of surviving there, we have to reach it, and that's where the real danger begins. Because getting to Mars is not just a trip, it's a test of human endurance that might break even the strongest among us. The journey to Mars, the challenge of surviving the way. There. Traveling to Mars isn't like taking a trip across the solar system, it's a one-way ticket through hell. The journey lasts between 6 and 9 months depending on orbital positions, and every kilometer is filled with invisible threats. There's no quick escape, no emergency stop, no turning back. Once you're on that rocket, Mars is your only destination, or your grave. Space is silent, but it's not empty. It's filled with radiation from the sun and beyond, bombarding your body every second. Astronauts heading to Mars would be exposed to doses that can alter DNA, weaken immunity, and increase cancer risk. The spacecraft becomes both your shield and your coffin, depending on how long you survive inside it. Then comes the isolation. 6 months in a confined metal capsule, millions of kilometers away from any living soul. The Earth becomes smaller each day until it's just a blue dot. Your home, your past, your everything, slowly fading into darkness. The psychological strain could be as dangerous as the physical one. Humans are social creatures, and in the void of space, loneliness becomes an enemy you can't fight. Voices crackle through static radio transmissions, delayed by minutes. Even talking to someone feels like shouting into eternity. Meanwhile, your muscles weaken, your bones lose density, and your organs start to forget gravity. Exercise helps, but not enough. Every heartbeat in microgravity reminds you that you were never built to live like this. And yet, the view is breathtaking. You pass the orbit of the moon, drift beyond the asteroid belt, and see the sun shrinking into a bright star. Somewhere ahead, a red dot gleams faintly, your destination. But as you get closer, Reality sinks in. Landing on Mars will be even harder than getting there. Entering its thin atmosphere at 20,000 km/h is like trying to land on a rock wrapped in tissue paper. There's almost no air to slow you down. Every mission has called this moment 7 minutes of terror. One mistake, one wrong angle, and the spacecraft will burn, crash, or vanish into dust. Mars doesn't forgive failure. It multiplies it. So when you finally touch down, when the dust settles and the engines fall silent, the relief is overwhelming. You've done it. You've made it to another world. But as the adrenaline fades, a chilling thought creeps in. You've escaped death once. Now you have to live where death is everywhere. The first step, the shock of standing on another planet. The landing is silent. No applause, no music, no crowd. Just the faint hum of machinery and the crunch of dust under your boots. For the first time in human history, a person is walking on another planet. But instead of triumph, the overwhelming feeling is strangeness. Everything feels wrong. The light, the air, even your own heartbeat. The sky above is tinted orange and brown, like a permanent sunset frozen in time. The sun is smaller here, weaker, and every shadow feels alien. You take a step and realize gravity doesn't pull the same way. It's only a third of what you're used to. Your body feels lighter, but your movements are awkward, like walking underwater. Each breath comes through the hiss of your oxygen tank. There's no wind, no sound, just the faint vibration of your own breathing. It's so quiet, it's almost unbearable. You realize that if you took off your helmet for a single second, you'd never breathe again. The silence feels alive, like the planet itself is holding its breath. The ground beneath you is ancient, billions of years old, untouched since before life existed on Earth. Every rock is a story, every grain of dust a remnant of cosmic violence. You're standing in a museum older than time itself. And yet, the irony is painful. This place is so full of history, but completely empty of life. Your visor reflects the landscape, endless plains, distant mountains, and a horizon that never seems to end. It's beautiful, but not in a welcoming way. It's beauty that warns you. You don't belong here. Every instinct in your body agrees. Still, you kneel down, grab a handful of Martian soil, and let it fall through your gloved fingers. It doesn't feel like sand. It's magnetic dust, laced with iron and sulfur. It smells faintly metallic, though you can't really smell it through the suit. You imagine it anyway. That first handful of soil becomes a symbol. Humanity has finally touched another world. But it's not victory. It's a reminder of how fragile we are, how far we've come only to realize how small we still remain. The weight of that truth presses heavier than gravity ever could. Mars is not your home. It's a challenge, a question, a mirror. It shows you what survival really means. And just when you begin to take it all in, the temperature drops. The world around you grows colder and darker. The sun dips below the horizon, and Mars reveals its cruelest truth. Because on this planet, even the cold can kill you faster than time. The extreme cold, a planet that freezes metal night, falls on Mars like a curtain of death. Within minutes, the temperature plummets to 100 degrees C. The heat your suit has been desperately holding in begins to fade. The visor frosts over, and your breathing becomes shallow. On Earth, that kind of cold would freeze water. Here, it freezes steel. The red soil beneath your boots hardens like glass. The planet itself seems to exhale frost, painting the horizon in shades of blue and black. It's not just cold, it's emptiness made physical. The kind of cold that doesn't just bite your skin, it creeps inside your bones and waits. Your equipment groans under the strain. Batteries lose power, circuits slow, and the air recyclers start to lag. Even the metal joints of your suit feel brittle, as if they might snap. Mars doesn't have weather in the way we understand it. It has punishment. You glance toward the horizon. The sun is gone, but the stars burn brighter than you've ever seen them. The Milky Way stretches endlessly, a reminder of how far you are from warmth, from life, from home. It's breathtaking and terrifying. Inside the base, heaters hum at full power, but they can only do so much. The temperature difference between the inside and outside walls is deadly. A single crack, a malfunction, and your sanctuary becomes a tomb of ice in seconds. What makes it worse is that the air itself is part of the problem. Mars's atmosphere is too thin to trap heat, only 1% of Earth's pressure. The warmth you make, the heat you breathe, it all escapes into nothingness. Even fire would struggle to burn here. In this cold, time slows. You move carefully, counting every step, every exhale. A broken suit or a lost connection could mean death before sunrise. You begin to understand that survival here isn't about fighting the elements, it's about enduring them. Then, a small sound breaks the silence. The wind. Mars doesn't have much air, but what little it has can still move. A whisper of dust swirls past the dome. It's soft, but it carries a message. Something is coming. You check the sensors. Pressure drops. Visibility falls. Within minutes, the faint wind becomes a roar. Dust begins to rise like smoke. The storm is here, and it's unlike anything on Earth. Because on Mars, even the air turns against you. The air you can't breathe. You take a step outside, and your visor fogs up from your own breath. But beyond that thin layer of glass lies an atmosphere that would kill you in seconds. Mars may look calm, but every molecule in its air is poison. 95% of it is carbon dioxide. No oxygen, no life, no chance. You could bring tanks, of course. You could build machines to make oxygen from the soil or ice, but even then it wouldn't be enough. The pressure outside is less than 1% of Earth's, so low that your blood would boil before you suffocate. Death here doesn't wait. It arrives in silence. The strange thing is how deceptively peaceful it all seems. There's no wind most of the time, no sound of movement, just an endless red horizon and skies that look almost breathable. But it's an illusion, a deadly calm, like the stillness before a storm. Even with life support systems, danger hides in every breath. A crack in the suit, a loose seal, a tiny leak. That's all it takes. The air rushes out, the lungs collapse, and the body becomes another fossil in the Martian dust. Scientists have tried to imagine how humans might adapt. Maybe we'll design new lungs, new suits, even new bodies. But evolution takes millions of years. And here, you don't get that kind of time. Mars isn't patient. It gives you seconds, not centuries. Even plants struggle here. Without constant protection, their cells dry out almost instantly. Photosynthesis, the most basic process of life, simply doesn't work in air this thin. The dream of a green Mars remains just that, a dream. And yet, every attempt to survive here teaches us something profound. It shows how fragile our existence is, and how extraordinary it is that life thrives on Earth at all. On Mars, you start to understand how rare breath truly is. You think about Earth's atmosphere, invisible, endless, effortless. You've never seen it, never touched it, yet it's the reason you're alive. Out here, that invisible blanket is gone, and you finally feel its absence. You look up at the pale sun, weaker but still burning, and wonder how it feels to shine over a planet that can't breathe. Maybe, in its silence, Mars is trying to remind us of something, how precious our own air really is. But before you can reflect too long, the sensors flash red again. The calm is breaking. Something huge is moving through the atmosphere. Something ancient and relentless. The dust storm that covers the whole planet. It starts with a whisper. Just a few grains of dust sliding across the barren ground. Then, within hours, the sky darkens. The sun fades to a dim glow, and a rusty fog swallows the horizon. You're standing in the middle of a planet-wide storm, and there's nowhere to hide. On Earth, storms have thunder and rain. On Mars, they have silence. The thin atmosphere can't carry sound, but it can carry dust. Billions of particles, lifted by winds that reach 160 kilometers per hour. The air turns thick and electric. You can feel the static crawling along your suit. Inside the base, lights flicker. Solar panels, once bright and efficient, begin to fail. The fine Martian dust is like smoke. It seeps into everything, coating sensors, cameras, and filters. Within hours, energy drops, visibility vanishes, and communication cuts out. You remember the rover Opportunity. It worked tirelessly for 15 years until one of these storms swallowed it whole. My battery is low and it's getting dark. Those were its last words to Earth. A robot's final whisper, lost in the endless wind. The strange part is how beautiful it looks from orbit. NASA satellites show the planet turning into a glowing red marble, wrapped in swirling dust. From space, it seems alive, a breathing world of fire and fog. But on the surface, it's death in slow motion. You wait, trapped in the dark, listening to the faint rattle of dust against metal. Days pass. The storm doesn't stop. It grows. The power runs low. Even inside, the air feels heavy, as if the planet is pressing down on you. In that suffocating silence, you start to feel something you didn't expect. Fear of stillness. Mars has no mercy, no rhythm, no pattern. It simply is. It doesn't care that you're here. You could vanish, and it wouldn't even notice. Eventually, the storm fades. The red haze thins and the light returns. Weak, distant, but there. The world looks the same, but you're not. You've seen what it means for a planet to fight back. And as you clean the dust from your visor, one thought haunts you. If the air and the storms are this deadly, how could anyone ever live here? Martian housing. Living inside a bubble. Imagine waking up every morning under an artificial sky. The walls around you hum softly. They're not walls, really, but barriers holding in life itself. Outside is death, thin air, radiation, and silence. Inside is the illusion of comfort. Living on Mars means living inside a bubble, a fragile island of warmth surrounded by a frozen desert. The first colonies wouldn't have glass domes like the movies. They'd be underground, buried beneath layers of dust and rock. That's the only way to escape the deadly radiation that bombards the surface day and night. You wouldn't see the sun for weeks, maybe months. Your world would be made of corridors, pressure doors, and recycled air. Every breath, every sip of water, every bite of food would be counted, measured, and reused. Waste becomes resource. Comfort becomes luxury. Even showers would be rare, replaced by wipes and sonic cleaners. The dream of life on another planet suddenly feels more like survival in a sci-fi bunker. The air smells metallic, filtered again and again through machines. The sound of pumps and fans never stops, because if it does, even for a minute, you die. Outside your window, if you have one, the landscape doesn't change. Red dust, black rocks, eternal dusk. Psychologists already worry about what that would do to the human mind. Isolation, monotony, the absence of nature, they're slow poisons. On Earth, silence is peaceful. On Mars, it's oppressive. You begin to crave noise, chaos, the sound of rain you'll never hear again. But people are adaptable. Over time, colonists might decorate their walls with Earth's images, oceans, forests, cities. Artificial sunlight lamps would mimic day and night cycles to trick their bodies into feeling normal. Even music might change, slower, softer, designed to fill the emptiness. There would be moments of beauty, too. Looking out through a reinforced window at a sunset that burns blue instead of red. Watching Earth rise as a tiny, pale star in the distance. Realizing that, against all odds, you're alive on another world. Still, the fragility of it all never leaves your mind. A small crack, a pressure leak, a system failure, and everything collapses. Your bubble of safety is always seconds away from disaster. Life here is not about thriving, it's about maintaining the illusion that you can. And as you walk through the echoing halls of your Martian home, one question lingers. If we have to hide underground to survive, are we really living at all? Yet, even in that isolation, another question grows louder. How will we eat? What would you eat on Mars? Forget fast food. Forget fresh fruit. On Mars, eating becomes an act of science. Every meal must be engineered, every calorie accounted for. You can't plant crops in toxic soil or rely on rain that doesn't exist. The question isn't what's for dinner, it's how do we make dinner possible? NASA's experiments have shown that Martian soil is rich in minerals but deadly with perchlorates, chemicals that destroy the human thyroid. Before you grow anything, the soil must be cleansed, filtered, or replaced entirely. That's why early food will come from hydroponics. Plants grown in nutrient-rich water under LED light. Imagine rows of green glowing beneath artificial suns. Lettuce, potatoes, algae, the foundation of survival. These plants won't just feed humans. They'll create oxygen, recycle carbon dioxide, and bring a hint of earth into an alien world. Each seed is more valuable than gold. But food is more than fuel. It's comfort, memory, identity. Astronauts already talk about the psychological power of taste. A single bite of something familiar, like chocolate or coffee, can remind them they're human. On Mars, a simple potato could feel like a miracle. You might laugh, but the Martian got it right. Potatoes could save lives. They grow fast, adapt easily, and provide precious calories. The first colonists might live on them for years, baked, mashed, freeze-dried, even powdered. A meal that connects future pioneers to ancient farmers back on Earth. Still, fresh food will be scarce. Most meals will come from 3D printed protein blocks, algae paste, and rehydrated powders. It won't be glamorous, but it'll be survival. Some scientists are even testing lab-grown meat without animals, created entirely from cells. Water, of course, is the biggest challenge. It has to be mined from ice or chemically extracted from the atmosphere. Every drop counts. Cooking, cleaning, and farming all depend on it. On Mars, wasting water is like wasting life itself. And yet, amid all that struggle, there's beauty in the idea. The first green sprout pushing through red soil will be more than a plant. It will be proof that life can adapt anywhere. A silent defiance against the impossible. Eating on Mars won't just be survival. It'll be a ritual, a moment of connection with Earth, with memory, with hope. Because every bite will remind you of what it took to get here, and what it means to be alive. Water, the red planet's hidden gold. On Earth, water is everywhere. Oceans, rivers, clouds. On Mars, it's a secret buried beneath the dust. Scientists call it the red planet, but beneath that red lies something blue. Frozen water locked away in ice caps and hidden glaciers. To find it is to find the key to survival. You can't live on Mars without water. It's needed for drinking, growing food, and even making oxygen. But here, every drop is trapped in a prison of cold rock and thin air. The challenge isn't just finding it, it's freeing it. And that requires heat, energy, and technology humanity has only begun to master. Rovers like Phoenix and Perseverance have already tasted traces of it. They've drilled, scooped, and scanned, revealing patterns of frost and subsurface ice. It's not much, but it's proof that Mars once flowed with rivers and lakes, a planet that might have looked like Earth billions of years ago. Imagine standing on a Martian plain, your scanner pinging softly. Beneath your feet, 2 meters down, lies ancient ice, untouched for eons. You melt it, purify it, drink it. The water you just swallowed might be older than humanity itself. But extracting it isn't simple. Mars's thin atmosphere makes liquid water unstable. It boils or freezes instantly. Colonists will need to mine the ice like gold, using drills and solar-powered heaters to extract every possible drop. Each liter becomes a treasure. That's why water is more than a resource here. It's currency, power, life. The colony that controls the ice controls survival. Future Martian politics might revolve around water rights, not land. Wars on Earth were fought over oil. On Mars, they might be fought over ice. And there's another use. Hydrogen from water can make rocket fuel. That means the same molecule that keeps you alive can also send you home, or further into space. Water could turn Mars into the launch pad for humanity's next great leap. Still, the deeper you dig, the more the planet resists. Ancient permafrost cracks your drills, dust clogs your machines, and the cold eats through the wires. Mars doesn't give up its secrets easily. But when you finally see that first droplet form, clear, pure, shining under the red light, it feels like victory. It's not just water, it's hope in liquid form. And yet, even with water, another enemy remains, one that no wall or suit can truly block. The invisible danger, cosmic radiation and genetic mutations. On Mars, danger doesn't always come with sound or sight. It moves silently, like an invisible storm. It seeps through metal, through walls, even through your skin. Radiation, the unseen killer of the cosmos, is everywhere. Earth has a magnetic field, a natural shield that blocks deadly solar and cosmic rays. Mars lost its magnetic field billions of years ago, leaving it naked beneath the stars. Without that protection, every second spent on the surface exposes you to radiation that can alter your DNA. It doesn't burn like fire or freeze like cold. It's worse. It rewrites you. Cells mutate, genes break, cancers form. You won't feel it at first, but after months or years, the effects begin to show. Fatigue, illness, decay. On Mars, the clock of life ticks faster. Astronauts know this risk. That's why future habitats will be buried, not for privacy, but for survival. Just a few meters of rock can block most of the radiation. Others propose using ice as a natural shield, wrapping bases in frozen water. On Mars, even ice becomes armor. But protection has a price. Living underground means losing the sky. No stars, no sunsets, no freedom. Colonists would trade the beauty of the cosmos for the safety of darkness. And perhaps that's the cruelest irony. To escape the stars, we must hide from them. Scientists dream of solutions. Maybe one day we'll design cells that can repair radiation damage or evolve into something new. Mars could become not just a colony, but a laboratory of human transformation. Evolution accelerated by necessity. Still, there's fear in that thought. If Mars changes us, what will we become? Humans built for a red world, unable to return to the blue one? The line between adaptation and mutation is thin, and Mars doesn't care which side we fall on. Every sunrise here carries invisible light, some of it life-giving, most of it lethal. Each day you survive is a small rebellion against the universe itself. And as you rest inside your metal cocoon, surrounded by silence, one truth becomes clear. You can shield yourself from the storm, but never escape it completely. The Martian clock, time, days, and the human mind. On Earth, we live by rhythm, sunrise and sunset, day and night, heartbeat and breath. On Mars, that rhythm falters. A single day here, a soul, lasts 24 hours and 39 minutes. It seems like a small difference, but over time, it unravels everything you thought you knew about time itself. Your body wants to follow Earth's clock, but the days stretch just long enough to confuse your sleep, your hunger, your mind. The line between day and night becomes blurred, your sense of time drifting like dust in the Martian air. You sleep when your body refuses to stay awake, not when the clock says so. Inside the habitat, artificial light simulates sunrise and sunset to help you adjust. But after a while, it's hard to tell what's real. Is it morning or another programmed illusion? You begin to lose track, not just of days, but of meaning. Outside, the sun hangs low and pale, almost ashamed. It casts long shadows that never seem to move fast enough. The light feels weaker, colder, as if it's traveling too far to reach you. The warmth of day doesn't exist here, only slightly less cold. When night finally comes, it's not black, it's endless. The stars are sharper, crueler, brighter. You can see Jupiter, Saturn, and even Earth shining faintly as a blue star. That single dot in the sky carries everything you've ever known. Every laugh, every ocean, every storm. It's all there. And then there's the silence. No insects, no wind through leaves, no waves. Just your own breath and the occasional hum of the habitat. The absence of sound becomes a new kind of noise, one that gnaws at the edges of your sanity. Time loses its purpose here. Without seasons, without music, without the pulse of Earth, You begin to question why hours matter at all. The planet doesn't care about your schedule. It runs on its own ancient rhythm. Psychologists call it temporal drift. You stop living by time and start living by events, meals, check-ins, maintenance. Survival becomes your only calendar. Every completed task is a new sunrise. Still, there's something mesmerizing about the Martian day. That extra 39 minutes feels like borrowed time, a gift from the universe to think, to breathe, to exist. A reminder that you are far from home, but still alive. And as those minutes tick by, you start to wonder, if time feels different here, maybe humanity will too. The future of colonization. Are we ready to call Mars home? The dream of living on Mars has always been about more than science. It's about legacy. To build a new world, to leave a mark beyond Earth, to say we were here. But when you stand on that frozen desert, surrounded by silence and dust, the question shifts. Are we ready to live here? Or are we just trying to escape ourselves? Elon Musk envisions cities under glass domes, fleets of rockets carrying thousands of settlers. NASA dreams of research stations turning into permanent colonies. The vision is beautiful, a frontier of red horizons and human footprints. But dreams don't breathe, and Mars doesn't forgive mistakes. Every advancement comes with cost: radiation, isolation, fragility. We can survive here, yes, but at what price? To live on Mars means to give up comfort, warmth, and the simple chaos of life on Earth. It means trading blue skies for a red cage. Still, humanity has never been afraid of hardship. We crossed oceans, climbed mountains, and flew into the void. Mars is just the next step, the hardest one yet. And maybe in its harshness, it will remind us of who we are: explorers, survivors, dreamers. The first Martian city might not look like a paradise. It'll be small, silent, built from metal and dust. But it will stand as proof that life, fragile, stubborn life, can bloom even where it shouldn't. That in the face of the impossible, we adapt. Yet, a haunting thought lingers. Maybe Mars is not our new home, but our mirror. A reflection of what happens when a planet loses its air, its water, its life. Maybe, just maybe, it's warning us, showing us Earth's possible future if we don't protect it. We call Mars the next frontier, but perhaps it's our reminder of the first one, the one we already live on. A world that still has oceans, forests, and sky. The only true home we've ever known. And so, when we finally look back from the red sands and see that tiny blue dot, we'll understand something profound. We didn't go to Mars to escape Earth. We went to remember it. Because in the end, Mars isn't about finding a new home. It's about realizing how precious the old one truly is. As the red dust settles and the faint sun dips below the horizon, you realize Mars was never just a destination. It was a question, a test of how far human curiosity can go before it breaks. We came here searching for a new home, but found a mirror instead, one that reflects everything fragile and extraordinary about life on Earth. Because in the silence of Mars, you finally understand. Our greatest discovery isn't out there among the stars. It's the planet we've had all along.